What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing? Welcome with Sports with Ray. This is your host, Ray. Some call me Raymond, some call me Ray Rob. Hope everybody's been good. You know, we're now into June, into the summer, a little bit after Memorial Day. Hopefully, everybody's had a first good half of the year. Realize if you had set out goals and things of that nature that you may have not achieved, may not even come close to, realize um, each day is a new day. Don't dwell on it. Just restart them. Just reset them. Um, I gave myself yearly goals, and then I tried to shorten it up to every 30 days. With the year, just like how companies break things down in, fiscal seasons, first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter, things of that nature. Just do it temporary, but still have the long-term goal for the end of the year at hand. Don't get down about it. As long as you able to breathe, you always have an opportunity to improve. So just know that. Just know, I know it's hard. Change behavior is something that happens whether it's good or bad over time. So, you just got to start. Just put more wins together than losses. You feel me? So it's a positive word of the day. Just wanted to hop on here real quick. I just wanted to talk about, the NBA season is over. Congrats to the Denver Nuggets. The Denver Nuggets won 4-1 against Miami. Denver Nuggets, the number one seed in the Western Conference. The Miami Heat, the number 8 seed, who lost their original play-in game against Atlanta and also was about to lose to Chicago in the elimination for the play-in tournament, but was able to get the victory, and then they went on one of the most incredible runs since another 8 seed that I saw, which was the New York Knicks in '99 with Spreewell, Houston, Canby, LJ, Patrick Ewing was on the bench at that time. He was injured. So let's start off by saying shout out to the Joker. The Joker's a dope player. It's crazy because when he first came out, I remember there was a conversation about him and Nurkic because Nurkic used to start at the time. And it's funny, not being funny, but playing 2K, I was just like, I used to run with Denver, and I'm like, this dude could do everything, you know what I'm saying? He was a little, at the league, he just needed a coach. Sometimes players just need a coach that believes in them and is going to let them show their whole skill set for the world to see. All players don't get that opportunity. But also you have to be that good to demand that kind of responsibility. So shout out to him. He had one of the most dominant runs. He had a run, I'm not comparing him to other white people or anything like that. He looked like how Dirk looked when Dirk was just determined to win. It was almost as if the best thing that happened to him was they got basically the narrative started to change because he was on his way to winning his third MVP in a row. Just like I feel like Giannis could have won 4 or 5 MVPs in a row. But if you look at Giannis won those 2 MVPs and did not win the championship. The year that he didn't get it, which coincidentally was the first year that Jokic got it, he had his breakout and won his championship. Jokic was on his way to winning the third until everybody just said, hold on, what about Joel Embiid and everything? And then it's almost like he kind of scaled back just to show people, I don't really care about this MVP. I really just want to win the championship. To me, man, definitely salute, because I've been a skeptic. I'm not going to lie, like me personally, I love offense. I'm an offensive and defensive guy. The only person who seems to, well, 2 people, Steph Curry and Magic Johnson, are the ones that I would say that they're so great offensively that I overlook their defensive shortcomings. Not to say they weren't great defense. They're not great defensively, but compared to the other 2-way players that I prefer. But Jokic was so dominant. He imposed his will. He let everybody essentially know, every series, I'm the best player. This is how, in the words of a wise philosopher by the name of Marlowe, you think it's one way, but it's the other way. That's what Jokic just told the whole NBA. You think it's one way, but it's the other way. It's my way. And I'm going to show you repeatedly. And, I'm looking like nobody can't do anything with him. Like, no, there's no resistance. And it's not like they're not trying, but he was just that dominant. It's just almost when the best player on the court, you can just feel it. And that's how he played. Whenever he needed to do whatever he needed to do, he did that. That was basically it. In every series, when it was time, like, okay, let me go ahead and shut this down real quick. It was nothing that anybody could do. And so, salute to him. Salute to Murray. I'm definitely a Murray fan. To see that both of them came from the bench and then were able to stick this out, have continuity. Like you said, the organization, it's been stated many times, gave them a chance. 8 years, gave them a chance to develop and everything. Them flying under the radar was actually a good thing, allowed them to build, no overthinking. You figure the last time they were healthy, they went to the Western Conference Finals. And then you have your second best player get injured. And then you have arguably your third best player have continual back surgery, which is Jamal Murray, and then Michael Porter. So, you get it. They're basically saying, we told you when we was healthy, this is what we're going to do. And they did it. And now the league needs to be on notice. I was talking a little stuff. I was like, this is what load management gets. Y'all didn't prioritize the regular season, and then y'all was trying to wait for the playoffs and all this stuff. And then you got a team that was in the groove, that's been in the groove, just waiting. They just needed the opportunity for them to be healthy. And they played through it. Now, they struggle. Everybody has their regular season lows and everything. But they got the continuity together. And while everybody else was trying to just get right before the end of the season, they were right the majority of the year. And so I didn't have in the great players list, I didn't have Joker winning one. So it's the players of this era. That's what it's like, not being funny. I say this jokingly. Steph changed basketball, but if you look at the last generation and you just think about the Carmelos, the Chris Pauls of that nature, the Dwight Howards, you would have thought one of those 3 or 4 players would have the championships that Steph have. You would have picked them over Steph. You see what I'm saying? But the greatness of Steph with a good organization, he put his stamp. He busted into the party, whether he was invited or not. Kawhi did that too. Kawhi just ain't been healthy enough. But he has 2 championships, 2 MVPs. That could have been one of theirs too. You see what I'm saying? Giannis did the same thing. But when you look at him and you see the hard work and then you look at the physique, okay. But yeah, Giannis wasn't really supposed to. It's like cats like Cat and really Anthony Davis. A lot of these, number 1, number 2 picks. Anthony got him one though, but these players, a lot of these European foreign players, they're coming in and they're making their own legacy. And I love that shit. I'm not going to lie. I love it. I love it a lot. Because a lot of these players feel like, I'm not going to say entitled, but they're thinking that, okay, we're just going to get here. Like a James Harden, Russell Westbrook, KD. KD got him too, but it's like now he needs 6. He doesn't need 6 to me, but it's almost like, because people only count rings, I'm not one of those people that now these players have to jump through insurmountable hoops. Not even for you to be satisfied, just for you to say, well, he got them then. Once they achieve the goal, that the goalpost moves for certain people. But anyway, I'm getting off track. Shout out to Denver. Shout out to Murray with a 2-year injury, coming back, getting back to where he was. Shout out to Aaron Gordon. Aaron Gordon did what Wiggins did last year. Both athletic players were pegged to be the franchise players of their teams. They may not been good enough for mentally there or wanted to shoulder all that responsibility. But they're athletically gifted. top 15 athletic talent wise. And they just turned up on defense. Like, I want to see what Aaron Gordon showed me is that he needs to be on first or second team all defense. Because no disrespect to some of those players that I saw, and they're well deserving. But what he did in the playoffs, like, that was second to none. That was second to none. Like, he put Jimmy was injured and all that. Jimmy had problems because of Aaron Gordon. KD had problems because of Aaron Gordon. Just what it was. LeBron did what he could, but it was a tough bucket trying to score on Aaron Gordon. 6'8", 6'9", and he can play the backup center when Jokic's not in and still run the offense. And people forget that he really can score. He just sacrificed for the team. And the key is if they get Porter, because Porter started playing with that effort. If Porter has the audacity to play with that kind of ferociousness that Gordon did, like on both ends, yeah, I don't know who beating them. And besides, I'm a Giannis fan, so give me some proper Giannis with maybe a little bit of younger talent. Like, I don't want to see Drew go. But keep Drew. Definitely, but keep Drew. But I feel like Middleton doesn't need to come back to Milwaukee, but we'll discuss that at another time. We will discuss that at another time. But Giannis is the type of force that can match Jokic. Because and they should keep Brook, because Brook is somebody that has the size and everything, and they have the bodies to play the Joker. If you're smaller than them, you can cancel Christmas. I listen to a lot of, so congratulations to them. I listen to a lot of talk shows, and Prisoner of the Moment is definitely real. When I say what I'm about to say, I don't want to sound like a hater. And just because you don't feel the same way as certain people, I don't have any ill intent against anybody. Just how I feel. If you feel like Joker's the best center ever, I mean, that's cool. It's cool. I mean, I salute him. He's the best player in the world right now. I believe personally who I would like no matter what. The best players in the world to me is Giannis and KD. And I know KD, people don't want to give it to him, and he hasn't been healthy enough to solidify that. But when he's healthy, his teams are dominant, no matter who's on the floor with them. Starters, non-starters, that's his work. If he's on the floor for 30 or 40 games, his team is going to be a first or second place, whether they got all elite players in there or not. Same in Giannis. So those two are the two best players in the world. But as of right now, the reigning Finals MVP is the best player in the world until shown otherwise. I just, when it comes to the center conversation, these arguments are always just so disrespectful. And, I mean, people feel, okay, Kareem's the best center of all time. If that's what people want to believe, that is legit. If you want to go with Bill Russell or Wilt, I feel like you almost just got to put them in their separate category. Just them, George, Mike, and started the game. And they had about 8 teams. I'm not disrespecting what they did. Just put them in a separate category. You want to say Kareem is the best. Okay, you want to say Shaq. Cool, of course. The disrespect for Olajuwon is getting out of control. It's getting out of control. Like the most skilled, Arvydas Sabonis is in there. As far as usage and what Jokic is arguably the most versatile. You can say he's the most skilled. His skills on display. He's allowed to do what other centers were not, besides Arvydas in his younger days, were allowed to do. That's no knock on him. I'm just saying what it is. But when I think of skill, Like, I don't think anybody's touching Olajuwon. They try to give Joel to Olajuwon. No. Like, Olajuwon, when he was raw, Olajuwon was dominant from his rookie year to about year 14. Like, that's 14 on, I mean, dominant, a supreme force on both sides. And no matter, like, and whoever you think is the best offensively, and I still think he's the best offensively. I mean, you can give, if you want to give Kareem over him, okay. But if we want to talk about skills and footwork, but he's my favorite center. He's the best center to me. You know what I'm saying? And then defensively, he blows everybody out of the water. It's not even close. The man, as a center, finished top 10 in points, rebounds, steals, and blocks all time. What are we talking about here? And when we're talking about blocks, he's 700 blocks ahead of Tim Duncan, who played longer. There were multiple seasons where this man averaged 4 to 4.5 blocks a game. Multiple seasons where he averaged over 3 regularly. And steals, top 10 ever. He might be like 11 or 12 now in steals. He retired like 2001, 2002. I just feel like, I don't know if it's a bias or, the foreign players don't get as much love back then. I mean, because it's almost like they went from Jordan to, like they skip over Olajuwon's time. Like he wasn't the number 1 pick. Like he wasn't the second best player to Jordan in that era. Everybody talking like Barkley and all them. No, it was Olajuwon. It's not even close. But it's like they eliminate him, and it just bugs me. So when they talk about the most skilled, and it's like they just jump players over Olajuwon, and I'm not going to get over it. I got my platform, whether there's one eyeball that sees me or a million. And this is not a knock. This is to anybody. But also, like, if you want to say any of those 5 people are better, I get it, because you're talking about greats. But his name needs to be put in there way more often than not. That's my rant for today. Salute to the Denver Nuggets, because they did it the right way. And they're built to last. I wasn't a believer. And what they did is they showed the league. And they have a balance to where they run so efficiently that they can switch pieces and still not lose a beat. They're that in tune. Now, we'll see what happens next year. And they're relatively young. There may be a situation where Aaron Gordon and Porter take more of the lead. Jokic doesn't care. Jokic is just going to fit in. He pretty much does it smart. He plays. He's very durable. The style of play he plays is not above the rim or anything. And he's moving the ball a lot. So, and he's in immense shape. All these athletic gazelles that he was playing against, he's beating everybody down the floor. That was one thing when I started peeping that and people were saying that. He's beating everybody down the floor. They can't run with him. So, salute to that man. Salute to Mike Malone, a great big man coach. I remember how when Sacramento was having a winning record, and then before somebody got injured, and then maybe Boogie got injured or something like that, he had Boogie playing his best basketball, and then Sacramento, because they didn't want to win, that was the only reason. Then they ended up firing Mike Malone. He's a very good coach, well deserved. And he's one of the few coaches that can still be harsh. Because you need to be hard. You need to be able to be harsh on some of these players to have accountability. Because that lacks a lot. So, salute to them and the whole organization. Shout out to Miami. Jimmy, you did all you can do. You have limitations. You are a superstar. I don't know why people, keep saying he's a star. It's because it doesn't look right. Anybody that leads their team to 2 finals in 4 years and three conference finals out of the last 4 years, that best player is a superstar. Especially, we saw how he did it. It may not be the pretty aesthetic, conventional way, but when he puts his imprint on the game, it's felt. He just needs more talent. And of course, I would love to see Dame go there. Plain and simple. But we'll get on that a little bit later. Just wanted to hop on here and just talk to y'all and chop it up with y'all just a little bit. Thank y'all for chilling with me. You'll see me. Just check for me. My social media handles, Ray Rob, REIROBB 97. That's on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok. Facebook page, Raymond, REIMEN. Peace, y'all.